Hello, Mr. Lee here. All right, so here's your tutorial for today's assignment. You have one exercise in Khan Academy. We want to determine angle measures based off a lot of pieces of information. Okay, so this is equation practice with angle addition. So you'll have different angles here, multiple angles, all kind of described in different expressions, different degree measures, and we have to ultimately find a certain angle measure. Okay, so you guys can read this yourself, but the angle we're trying to find is measure AOB. Okay, so it's going to be from A to O to B, which is going to be this angle right here, right? And if you look previously, AOB is determined by 3x plus 4, okay? So we have no idea what 3x plus 4 represents until we figure out what x is, all right? So if you look at my my Desmos steps here, this is kind of a general way of solving these types of problems. So the goal is to determine the angle measure, right? We're looking at AOB. So we have to first write an equation and then use that equation. We're going to solve the equation and then use that value of x to actually determine the angle measure, okay? So if you can kind of work backwards here, we cannot figure out what this value is until we know what x is, right? Which is why we need an equation to solve. So try to think about this process here, right? The goal is to determine the angle measure. If you work backwards, that means you have to figure out what x is, which then means you have to have an equation that relates x. Okay, so let's start this out. We have measure of AOC is 108. AOC is the big angle, okay? So that means the two smaller angles in angle addition should add up to the 108, okay? So AOB is going to be 3x plus 4. Everything's written up there. And then BOC is going to be 8x minus 28. Okay, so follow this. We have the two smaller angles, 3x plus 4, added together. And that should equal the bigger angle, which is 108. So this is the equation we're trying to solve, okay? So I'm obviously using some text here, but you guys can use your annotation or pen and paper, whatever you like. Once we have the equation, that's actually the harder part. We have to solve it, okay? So combine some like terms. Your 3x plus the 8x becomes 11x. And then your 4 minus a 28 becomes, what is that? Minus 24, right? And we still have 108 on the right side. All I did from this step to the next was combine some like terms. And then here, from here on out, I'm going to go a little bit faster, but you guys can pause and rewind if you need. We're going to solve this two-step equation, right? Add 24 to both sides. That's going to be, let's see, 108 plus 24 is going to be 132. And then we divide 11 on both sides. That's going to give us a 12, right? So 132 divided by 11 is going to be 12. I'll show it this way. X is equal to 132 divided by 11. This gives you 12, okay? So solution is 12. But we're not done yet, okay? So very important that you keep going through these steps. Keep looking back at the goal. This is why I'm documenting this, okay? Your goal is to determine the measure of the angle. We haven't done that yet, right? We've only found the x value, which is part of the solution, right? We have to use this x value now to finally go to step 3, determine the measure of the angle, okay? So this was step 1. I wrote the equation. This was step 2. I had to solve the equation, right? All the way to x is 12. And now we're going to use x is 12 to determine the angle measure, right? So go back to the angle we're trying to find. Measure of AOB, okay? AOB is the same as 3 times x plus 4, okay? So now that we know that x is 12, we can do 3 times 12 plus 4. This should be your final answer, right? AOB is 3x plus 4, 3 times 12 plus 4, so we get an angle measure of 40 degrees. Let's type that in. Okay,